In this video, I'll be spending 100 days in Minecraft Demon Slayer as a demon. My goal is to defeat all the 12 moons, the Hashira, and then Muzan and eventually obtain sun breathing, allowing me to walk under the sun as a demon. I started day 1 in a fresh new world, ready to become the unrivaled Demon King. I began my journey by smacking some wood with my fist to make myself some wood tools. Then I start smacking some stone and advance to the Stone Age, acquiring stone tools for myself. Then I jump into a river and I would like to say I begin spearing some fish, but I have a sword, not a spear, so either way, just getting some raw fish to eat, I suppose. After this, I head back to dry land and start slicing up any edible animal I can see for their meat. I'm going to be spending a long time mining later on, so God knows I'll need the food reserves. Once I had enough food, I started off with mining some coal as fuel, then headed into a cave and mined some iron as well, which I turned into better tools as well as at least a sword decent enough to fight with. On day 2, I began searching to mine some Muzan blood, from deep underground to the loose ore veins on mountains. To get stronger as a demon, you have to consume Muzan blood, but I want to set a challenge for myself, so I'm only going to mine until I have 16 Muzan blood. Any more has to come from the 12 moon demons I'll kill later on. I also mined some iron as well while I was at it so I could make some better tools. I tossed the ore straight into the furnace and made myself some armor. I finally had enough Muzan blood, so I drank it all straight away and revelled in my newfound power. I waited until now to drink it because as a demon the sun kills you. Having emerged from my hole, on day 3 it was time to begin my epic battle to get to the very top of all living organisms, with Supreme Demon King as my ultimate goal. I killed anything and everything, primarily hunting my fellow demons as well as all those pesky demon slayers. Luckily, I obtained some pieces of their uniform really early on, and as it was better than my iron armor, I equipped it, though I will need to repair it sometime soon. I kept up my hunt, killing loads of hostile monsters and any demons and demon slayers I came across, when all of a sudden one of them busts out a fire breathing technique on me. For a second there, I thought it was the fire Hashira Rengoku, but then I quickly realised it was just a grunt who used the breathing style. Luckily for me, thank God. Oh, by the way, did I mention that I can actually eat demon slayers? Yup, they're basically going to be my staple food source from now on. Day 3 ended for me when the sun began rising. I was new to being a demon, so I completely forgot and only remembered when the sun was on the horizon. So I quickly sprinted to find myself some shelter for the night. I got sidetracked mining some iron I found, which led me to have the closest shave of my life and almost burned to death on just day 3. On day 4, I found myself a villager village, so I decided to explore and ransack it to sort out my food supply. I took both all the crops and even killed the villagers so that I could eat them later. Unsurprisingly, some demon slayers noticed me ransacking the village, so I had to fight them off, and one kinda like just exploded? Then I also saw a temple demon and decided to defend my food source by killing him, but then I met Kanao, a higher ranked demon slayer, and she completely obliterated me. I really didn't think I even did a single bit of damage to her, so I had to sprint for my life. On day 5, I decided it was time to create an actual base for me to live in, rather than just hiding in any old random cave at night. So I went exploring when I came upon a pillager tower. I figured I couldn't be bothered living there with the pillagers constantly spawning, so I simply looted it and left. Before too long, I came upon another village and I figured it was a good place as any. Mainly because I was too lazy to make my own house. I began by killing any hostile creatures around the village and then looted everything, which there was actually a lot of. Just when I thought I found the perfect base, I came upon my worst nightmare, an actual Hashira. It was the sound Hashira Uzui. I literally ran for my life, like my very soul depended on it. Thank God I consumed a fair bit of Muzan blood already, or there's no way I'd have the physical prowess to escape from a Hashira. I finally had myself a home I could use as a shelter from the sun. I really need to get myself sun breathing at some point so that I'm not burned to bits. On day 6, I decided to get some better gear, so I created a mine shaft from my house. Before too long, I managed to find myself some diamonds in a cavern, but I also found Muzan blood right next to it, which was so painful because I knew I couldn't take it. I found even more diamonds next to the former lower rank 2, Hyro. Luckily, he wasn't hostile to me as he figured I was just another subordinate of Muzan. I wasn't quite ready yet to be facing any of the 12 moons. When I went back up to the surface, I made myself some diamond tools as well as weapon and armor. Though only what I didn't yet have in Demon Slayer uniform. On day 7, I resolved myself to start working my way up the Demon Slayer world for real. I went out to explore and found Mount Sagiri when I came upon it, and a village right underneath it. So as per usual, I ransacked and looted it. After I finished looting, I headed up the mountain and cleared the first mission, and then I began mowing down everything in my way, demon and Demon Slayer alike. After killing quite a few of them, I came upon Makimo and decided to fight her before I fought Sabato, and this backfired horrendously. I have absolutely no clue what happened, but the moment I defeated Makimo, Sabato just appeared out of nowhere. He must have been close by and I simply didn't see him. On day 8, it was time to kill my first special demon, the one which previously consumed Sabato and Makimo, the hand demon from the Wisteria Forest. His special move really scared the heck out of me, but ultimately my damage output won me the fight. On day 9, I decided to add a food farm to my base, but not before testing out the special ability of the hand demon, which was actually insane and pretty damn cool. If only it wasn't ugly enough to make me want to not wear it. So I made a farm under my base using a bunch of torches and basically just planted a ton of potatoes. Potatoes for the win. On day 10, I was ready. It was time to truly start my battle for supremacy, so I went out to fight the higher ranked demons, Susumaru, Yaiba and Kyogai. I first found Yaiba and quickly killed him, but unfortunately he didn't drop his blood up. Sad. Next, I found Susumaru and killed him with relative ease, but again, no blood art. What's going on with my poor luck? Then I found the former 12 moon, Kyogai, and attacked him straight away. He was definitely stronger than the previous two, but he fell fast as well, which gave me the achievement of Demon 30, which showed I killed 30 demons. And I got his blood art, the drum from his body, which allowed me to send out a claw slash attack, which turned out to be OP as hell and super easy to use. Now that I'd killed a former 12 moon, it was time to up my game. So on day 11, I found and fought Kaminue, the lower rank 6. I stuck it to him by spamming the former lowest rank 6 Kyogai's blood art on him. I got myself my first extra blood art so that I could consume, and consume it I did. This would be how I make my way to the top. I also got the guy's blood art and began testing it out straight away. Yamato no Orochi looked mad as hell. Raccoon Dog Illusion was definitely surprising. I didn't expect it to change my position with where I was looking, but this will definitely turn out useful later on. Let's just enjoy the rest of these abilities. After testing them all, this blood art definitely seems versatile and useful. On day 12, it was time to head out and try to find Mount Natagumo. I completed mission 4 when I reached the top and came upon some demon slayers who instantly met their grisly deaths. I was here to kill Rui for the mission and to increase my 12 moon ranking, but first I gotta kill his family because I absolutely hate spiders, like full level phobia. The first to meet his end was Rui's father, then I killed his sister. She didn't even know what hit her. Up next was Rui's mother, though she didn't really even fight back. I hate spiders so much. I found Rui's brother and just insta-killed him because his form freaks me out. Now that his family is dead, it's time for Rui to meet his end. He fought back a little bit using his powers, but ultimately I came out on top, and even managed to get his blood art, which turned out to be my favourite of all. I spent days 13 and 14 by going deep underground and collecting, very slowly mind you, a bit of obsidian so that I could go into the nether. Well, the portal is finally done. Time to go through it. On day 15, I explored the nether to find another fortress. I met Kaminoe again and killed him, but by god did he really put up a fight this time. Especially with his teleportation blood art, he kept blindsiding me. I drank the Muzan blood and continued on and finally came upon the nether fortress. After an excruciatingly long amount of time, I quickly dealt with the blazes that had spawned. I spent day 16 just non-stop farming a ton of blazes to get their blaze rods to use later since I was already in another fortress anyway. No point making multiple trips. On days 17 through 20, I was doing a ton of mind-numbing grinding on the wither skeletons so that I could get 3 heads to spawn a wither. Though this gave me an opportunity to make good use of my abilities, which turned out quite fun. On day 21, I spawned the wither and fought him using Rui's blood art as it shot a ton of projectiles, and it turned out way more effective than I initially thought. But then Zenitsu intruded and kept harassing me with his lightning. So I prioritised just ignoring him and ending the wither as quickly as possible so that I could loot it and run away. I really don't think I was quite ready to face him yet. I spent days 22 to 26 just endlessly farming endermen to get all of the ender pearls to combine with the blaze rods we got early into Eye of Enders, so we can find the stronghold. I also killed a bunch of demon slayers and got lucky enough that I got one of their swords, which I then used and its colour changed to wind breathing style. Me likey, so me keepy. Much better than the diamond sword I was using previously. I spent day 27 finding the stronghold, then most of it was spent actually finding the portal. This fortress was huge and a disgustingly bad maze. On day 28, I just entered the end, so I started off by poling up to the ender crystals to destroy them, cutting off the ender dragon's power. I did about half of its health with simple sword attacks, but then it flew off into the air, so I had to rely on my Blood Art's projectiles attacks to whittle the dragon down. It then came and perched, and somehow that stopped my projectile attacks from working, so I just had to run up and whack it to death. Oh well. On day 29, I decided to fight some more 12 moons, and it was time for Mukago and Wakuraba. I don't believe they actually spawn naturally, as they're not yet completed characters due to their abilities being unknown, so I simply summoned them with a command. They had a lot of health and took ages to kill, but ultimately they didn't pose much challenge as they lacked abilities of their own. On day 30, I searched for and eventually found the lower rank 2 Rakuro. I took him down using my favourite moves from Rui's Blood Demon Art. They are seriously insanely powerful, as well as ridiculously easy to use. I was lucky enough to get Rakuro's Blood Art, so I tested it out right away. His abilities looked very interesting, though I definitely prefer the ones that I currently use. On day 31, I found the Mugen Train biome and even climbed straight on top of the Mugen Train and started stealing all of their coal as I can use it later on. Saves me time mining. I then found the lower rank Ron, Enmu, and began the fight with Wind Breathing, then went to Old Reliable, Rui's Blood Demon Art. I quickly killed his initial form, then he turned into a train? Hitting him with melee attacks turned out to be difficult, so I relied heavily on my Blood Art's ranged abilities to whittle him down. But when he was near death, so was I. So I retreated and ate a Demon Slayer to recover, then finished him off with cutting thread rotation. Just as I began testing out his Blood Demon Art, a freaking Hashira attacked me when I was already half dead, so I had to run for my life. Now that I had already defeated all lower rank 12 moons, it was time to seriously power up. So I spent days 32 to 36 harvesting sugarcane and hunting cows for leather to make myself some bookshelves so that I can enchant my stuff. I got really lucky with my initial enchantments, but it turned out that I couldn't enchant my hand demon armor, so I made myself a Zenitsu uniform and enchanted that, getting mad luck and got the best enchantments possible instantly. With this, my strength had already jumped up several levels. I spent days 37 to 43 hunting for more lower rank 12 moon demons to get their moves and blood so that I could really power up. I've already consumed 25 and I'm aiming for 40 before I try fighting any Hashira or upper ranks. I was lucky enough to come upon a weakened upper rank 4 Zohakuten after he had already defeated the Hashira Himejima and Zenitsu, leaving him ripe for the picking. I spammed my blood arts and finished him off before he could even pose a threat to me and drank the 4 moves and blood he dropped straight away, further increasing my power. I decimated Enmu and drank his Muzan blood, but the Wind Hashira Shinazugawa ambushed me, so I ran away like a scared little boy. I was training to be able to fight dudes like him, but I wasn't quite there yet. On days 44 through 51, I continued enchanting my gear to get full protection 4 so that I could have the defense I needed for fighting the Hashiras and upper moons. It was basically just me enchanting a bunch of armor pieces for a load of enchantments, and then I took them all to an anvil and combined them to get a full set of protection 4. On day 52, it was time to move my way up the power rankings, so I found and fought Inosuke. I was so powerful that the guy did literally 0 damage to me, which is insane. I was expecting this to be a crazy difficult fight. Seriously, these blood arts are way too good. On day 53, I went and found Zenitsu and started fighting him, only to be met with a gigantic wall of lightning, so I kept my distance and started spamming my abilities at him. Again, literally 0 damage. I guess the main character trio aren't at the level of the Hashira quite yet. On day 54, it was time for Tanjiro, and I'm not gonna lie, this is the one of the 3 that I'm the most worried about. Last thing I need is being hit by a surprise headbutt. But thanks to my ranged abilities, this fight turned out the exact same as the previous 2, despite him throwing out water dragons, in that I took literally 0 damage. On day 55, it was time to up the ante and I hunted for the upper rank 6 Daki. I had an overwhelming advantage that they don't just fight back because they register me as an ally of their master Muzan, due to me being a demon. But then I attacked Gyutaro with my sword, which made him aggro on me, turning this into a real fight. I decided to also hit Daki to make her aggro on me too, so that I could kill them together, as you have to kill both at once, or the other just survives and regenerates. After I managed to finish them both off, I got the achievement Demon Killer 50, and also unlocked the Crimson Red Nichirin Blade, which will come in handy later. I got Gyutaro's Blood Art and tested it out, however it was mostly short range abilities, but my fighting style was long range, so I wasn't sure how often I'd actually be using this, and then I consumed both of their Musenblad, making me even stronger. On day 56, I began hunting the Hashiras and first fought Tomioka, the Water Hashira. I played it seriously safe and ranged him for basically almost all of his health. For a while there at the start, I thought I'd be able to finish this fight the same as the previous 3 Demon Slayers and lose 0 health. But I guess that was way too much to ask from a Hashira, and God knows that paid off, because when I began fighting him sword to sword, he was dealing insane damage to me. Luckily, I dealt as much damage to him at the start as I did. On days 57 and 58, I found Tanjiro again, who was trying to fight me, but was also getting battered by Kokushibo. So I finished him off real quick, then continued on to my actual objective. I found and fought Daki's replacement, the new upper rank 6, Kaigaku, the former older disciple of Zenitsu who became a demon in pursuit of power. And this fight turned out exceptionally anticlimactic. He started off by somehow dodging 2 of my heavy hitting abilities, but then I brought his health down real quick and moved in with a sword to finish him off. But he died so quick that I had no time to really display his abilities or even damage him. I got his sword and tested out its abilities. They looked absolutely mad damaging and very useful for escaping. On day 59, I located and fought Kocho, the Insect Hashira. This was a very interesting fight, and unlike any before, as she never actually allowed me to fight her at range, as she just kept leaping at me and using her breathing techniques. So I met her blow for blow using Gyutaro's Blood Demon Art and finished her off with my favourite, Rui's Demon Art. On day 60, I found the Flame Hashira, Rengoku. Seriously, I love his name and his appearance. He shot a gigantic flame tiger head at me. Luckily, I must have dodged it because I took no damage. Then, because of my horrible luck, Himejima, the Stone Hashira, also jumped into the fight, making this so much harder. So I concentrated on just killing Rengoku so I could run as fast as I could. I spent days 61 to 63 searching for Yoko to kill him, and yes, it really did take that long. I don't know whether I just had god-awful luck or if random number generator just hates me. This is definitely going to be a tough one as he has 250 health. Luckily for me, I had the advantage in that he thought I was his ally as a servant of Muzan. Little did he know that I'm going to be the future Demon King. On day 64, I found and fought the Mist Hashira, Muichiro, who literally just kept teleporting all around me, making this fight exceptionally annoying. Then I used Gyoko's Blood Demon Art, which threw me all over as well. Gyoko's Blood Demon Art was quite interesting, but a little hard to aim. All in all though, I persevered and got the kill. I spent days 65 to 72 training by killing a load of Demon Slayers and Demons so that I can be ready for my fights against the stronger Hashiras and 12 Moons, then eventually Muzan himself. On day 73, it was time for me to hunt down and fight Hantengu. Though it took me 2 days, I started off by simply hitting Hantengu with my sword to make him split into his first 4 bodies, and then struck them with Murder's Eye Basket to make them all merge back together into Zohakute, Hantengu's ultimate form. From here, I spammed plenty of Rui's abilities and Kyogai's drum to whittle him down after aggroing him. For a while there, I couldn't even see him because of how many dragon-looking trees he created. Then I finished him off with Idaten Typhoon and drank his Muzan blood to power up some more. On day 75, I continued my Hashira hunt when I came across Kanroji, the Love Hashira. Because of her breathing style, I decided to fight her with all of my current blood arts to give me the best methods of attacking, and she did a fair bit of damage to me at the start. She kept jumping straight at me, making it difficult to target her with my abilities, but I persevered and changed to my sword to have a proper match of her, then took a page out of her book and finished her off with Gyoko's Killer Fish Scales ability, which made me jump all over the place and took her down. On day 76, I decided to try my luck and attempt fighting Akaza, the upper rank 3 of the 12 moons. I came across Akaza fighting Kanroji, the Love Hashira, and decided to take advantage by jumping into the fight. While they were concentrating on each other, I worked to whittle down both their healths, though it was obvious Kanroji would die first. Akaza is seriously just way too powerful and has some OP abilities. I finished off Kanroji with a ranged attack, so it was time to concentrate on Akaza. Luckily his health was already fairly low, so I finished him off with my sword and Rui's blood art. Then after I cut off his head, he started regenerating really fast. So I did my best to keep laying on the damage, but his head had already fully regenerated, but then all of a sudden, his body just gave out and I won the battle. On day 77, I went to look for the Stone Hashira Himejima when I encountered a hostile Zenitsu. So I had to fight him off, but Himejima also happened to be nearby, so I had to be especially careful. Zenitsu seems to have disappeared, so I thought he was dead, but then he just sneak attacked me again. Luckily Himejima didn't seem to be interfering in the fight yet, and then as I said that, here comes Himejima attacking me from behind. I concentrated on finishing off Zenitsu first, as his health was already low, so I demolished him with Gyoko's blood art, allowing me to finally focus on Himejima. Himejima had surprisingly high health considering that he wasn't a demon, and he kept using a close range AoE ability, so I had to try fighting him from afar, which was difficult with all the trees in the way. After cycling through all of my blood arts, I finally managed to kill the guy. I spent days 78 through 85 training some more by killing a bunch of demons, especially the 12 moons for their Muzan blood. I also came across the Yoriichi puppet and decided to try my hand with him too. I used all of my long range abilities just in case, and managed to actually make short work of him. I also met the Flame Hashira Rengoku and decided to kill him. Though it took me a long time, but it turned out worth it as he dropped his sword, allowing me to use flame breathing. I tested out the flame breathing by killing Susumaru, and to my surprise, an ability literally one-shotted her, and not to mention the sword actually looks sick. On day 86, I searched for the upper rank 2, Doma. I started off the fight using some long range abilities, then to my surprise he suddenly attacked me using his blood art, which made me fall in a hole with no way out, which made me seriously panic. I regained my composure and used my Ibatan Typhoon ability to jump out of the hole. Seriously, that could have gone so badly if I was forced to take all of his attacks close range. Instead, now I had Doma in the hole, so I basically just bullied him. Thanks to this, I had a seriously easy fight and managed to kill him having taken only 3 hearts of damage, and that's only because I also jumped in to finish him off with my swords. On day 87, I hunted for the Wind Hashira, Shinazugawa, and found him at the bottom of a ravine. I jumped down there with him, but this would turn out to be a very poor decision as he was taking down my health basically as much as I was his. I bring out my old reliables, Hyogai's drum, Rui's blood art, and Gyuchiro's sickle, and bring his health down steadily, but surely with my favourite abilities. Now, I just had to figure out how I'm going to get myself out of this ravine. On day 88, I found the Snake Hashira Iguro and started bashing him with my abilities. He was a bit difficult to see due to his movements and the smoke screens he kept making, but by this point, I was used to stringing together my various abilities, making this an exceptionally quick fight, though I actually did take a fair bit of damage. On day 89, I searched for the upper rank 1, Kokushibo, a former demon slayer and the brother of Yorichi, the inventor of the breathing styles. I took advantage of the fact that Kokushibo didn't register me as an enemy as he thought that I was simply another servant of Muzan, to take his health down a load using my blood arts. But unfortunately, I aggroed him when I used Gyoko's blood art. Luckily, by this point I'd already done a third of his health. I played it safe and used my blood arts to keep him at a distance so that he couldn't hurt me while I was whittling down his health. Then I actually got overconfident and rushed straight into a melee fight. I've cut out a fair bit of the fight as my FPS kept dying, making the fight take way so long. I got him low enough that his sword merged into his body, though my health was also low, so I had to fight very carefully and decided to finish him off at range, getting me his sword, his clothes, and his Muzan blood. I spent days 90 to 93 searching for Tamayo, a demon who had freed herself from Muzan's control to ask her to do the same for me. After an excruciatingly long search spanning multiple days, I finally found her residence and found Yushiro, her friend, right away. At first, I couldn't find her, but after searching through into her back garden, I found her admiring a wall. Anyway, with this, I finally broke Muzan's curse, allowing me to freely fight him. I was ready, so on day 94 I decided to spawn Muzan, as I don't think he actually yet spawns naturally on this mod, though I believe he will in future versions though. I'd gotten Kokushibo's moon breathing sword, so I started spamming Muzan with everything the sword had to offer, and then switched to my personal favourite, Rui's blood art. Well, the guy has 1000 health, so I will see you guys later once I've done a bit more damage. I managed to get Muzan stuck in a river and use that to whittle Muzan's health down by a ton, putting him in his absolutely terrifying final form. During the fight, I'd unlocked the Transparent World skill, though not that I'm actually aware what it does anyway, so I just kept whittling down Muzan's health. Now that he was low and I was at full health, I decided to finish him off close range and sent him flying out of the river, then finished him off with Moonbow Half Moon. With Muzan dead, I was now the Demon King. Now that I was the Demon King, I spent days 95 to 100 killing a seemingly infinite amount of demon slayers to get the Nichiren swords in the hope that I would eventually get a sun breathing sword so that I could walk under the sun despite being a demon. Sadly for me, where there are low rank demon slayers, there are often high rank demon slayers as well. So I kept having to kill Hashiras on top, making this take even longer than I'd hoped. I finally had it. A black Nichiren sword with sun breathing. I tested out its abilities and they looked damn cool. Though actually I didn't really even care about the sun breathing abilities, what I cared about was being able to finally walk under the sun without burning to death. I waited until morning and walked out into the sun and began fighting Kanouochi to test. It was official. I was able to even kill a demon slayer while out in the sun, and with this, I was the true demon king who had to fear nothing and could live forever. I even brazenly ate demon slayers while staring at the sun. Thank you so much for watching everyone, I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe and comment, and feel free to check out more of my 100 day videos, the links are in the description. Let me know what you'd like me to do a video of next.